Hi, it's Jane. Why don't you join me while I'm doing a little bit of knitting today? Um, hadn't done any knitting last week, so I do need to get a little bit of this knitting done. So I can get these fronts ready to go. You know, it's important to finish items, right? Anyway, how are you guys today? Are you having a good week? Mine was rather interesting. Monday, I had been told that I had a deposition to do at a lawyer's office. I showed up and the gal looked at me and she goes, "Well, that's Wednesday." So we had to reschedule that for next Wednesday. But it was rather interesting. And problem is the lawyer's secretary had called me and gave me the date of the 28th. So I don't know how they got things so screwed up, but we'll get it taken care of, right? So I've been hearing these stories from North Carolina that are breaking my heart already. I mean, it's hard enough what these people went through with Hurricane Helene. Now what they're calling the West Virginia boys came down and opened up the road from Bat Cave to Chimney Rock within 3 days, whereas the state officials and FEMA and all those people said it was going to take months to do. These guys brought their equipment down, they took care of it and cleared the road. You know, you can call these boys rednecks, you can call them whatever you want, uneducated, but they're willing to get out there and work and get the job done. And they were helping their fellow man and brothers. So, well, that was a good thing, right? Now, lately, the Red Cross is closing all of their centers, which leaves many of those people homeless. Like I said, these people have already lost, many of them have lost family members and everything they own. And now the state of North Carolina's Department of Social Services, or Children's Services, is telling them that if they're homeless, they can't provide and feed their children, so they will be taking their children. That is a blow that is unacceptable, if you ask me. Now, there have been plenty of organizations, groups that have moved in, brought in trailers for them. These people are allowed to have a tent on their property. And also, a lot of people have been donating tiny homes so that they can get back into their property and then have homes for their family. But the regulations that are there within the city, the towns, state, for getting that regulation, getting those things passed, approved to get put on the place are rather long in process. And I think in this case, because it is an emergency situation, that the governor and the state Congress could probably pass something that would allow them to move in there with those tiny homes, those trailers on their properties, set up their homesteads again. In the meantime, while they're waiting for the funds from insurance companies to try to rebuild their lives, which some of the companies I understand are denying those funds. So yeah. But to have a blow that they're going to take your kids away from you because you're homeless when the centers were providing what you needed, helping to provide those things. People were donating food, monies, and people have given millions to the Red Cross for Helene itself. And you can't tell me that they've spent all those millions there. So I have an issue with Red Cross to begin with. Initially, they always seem like they're a good good organization that helps out in times of need, but many times their bureaucratic nonsense actually does more damage than it does. And the money that if you send in to a certain disaster, you need to make sure that you earmark your donation for that disaster, or it'll just go into their general fund. And of course, a lot of their general fund pays their CEOs or operations for their fundraising, stuff like that. So I have a little bit of a beef with Red Cross. I would always suggest that you donate directly to the churches in that area. If you're donating directly, donate to Samaritan's Purse. And I believe Samaritan's Purse, you can also designate where you would like it to go. So, yeah, it's very upsetting to see this and see these people who've lost everything in their lives. And some of them, family members, now that they're even possibly going to lose their children due to a state system that, one, is already overrun with children that are placed in foster care. So, yeah, I just don't understand it. I think Roy Cooper could do a better job. Although I keep hearing that Mark Robinson, the lieutenant governor, has been doing more than the governor. But I think they need to get off their butts and make a way for these people to keep their families together, what's left of them. Just crazy. So yeah, and you have media that's saying that those aren't happening. It's not true. There aren't thousands dead, yet you hear people that are on the ground right there showing you, telling you there are refrigerated trucks with thousands of body parts that are, packed in them. They know thousands have died in this. You have people that have been missing for 30 days plus due to Helene, and most likely they will never be found if they're buried under all that dirt and mud and river or whatnot. So, I don't know. No easy answer, is there, guys? And thankfully, we have less than a week left before it's time to vote. Thank God. Then it will be over. Of course, here in Pennsylvania, there's been a lot of issues with them finding fraudulent voter registrations from different organizations, which I might add most of them are Democrat, Act Blue, those kind of things. And then those people that are coming in to vote earlier, they won't let them vote past 1:45 even if they're in line. They're shutting down the lines, which I think one lady said it's election interference, and yeah, I believe it truly is. And then you have, in Bucks County, they're bringing bus loading people in who cannot speak English, taking them to the front of the line so that they can vote and helping them vote while they're wearing Harris Wall stickers and t-shirts. How are they allowed to vote? You're not allowed to vote with that kind of campaign propaganda. So the cheat is on, that's for sure. And thankfully, our local Supreme Court voted that, Pennsylvania's Supreme Court voted that all the mail-in ballots have to have proper dates on them. Can't come in after, they have to be counted that day. Not allowed to count the ones that come in after, which is a good thing. And I know someone who works the election board here, we've talked, and she said in this area they're very serious about verifying that these are American citizens, either naturalized or born. when they register to vote. She sees that there are a lot of counties in those places that we call spigot counts, which are like Bucks County, Delaware County. I think Chester County is considered also. But places like Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Lancaster. So, I don't know, crazy. And then you have President Trump that's called everybody that supports Trump garbage. Democrats, something wrong with you people. Seriously. Now, I know they made a big stink about the comedian that had talked about the garbage issue on the island of Puerto Rico. And honestly, there is a huge issue there. And not only is it an issue because of the landfill, one, they don't do any type of recycling. So that's part of their problem. So it's filled with all kinds of things. They would recycle, it would help with that landfill issue. And quite frankly, all islands are floating islands, regardless of where they're at. So, I don't know. Crazy. But they're making a big stink about that, and even Puerto Ricans laugh about it because they're like, yeah, we have a huge issue. And then we have trash that just washes up on shore. And I know when we, on the cruise that I took last year, when we were coming into port, you could see the trash washing up on the shore. So it's a valid, people make jokes. It's a joke, people. And apparently this guy is called Killer somebody online. I don't think I've ever seen him. Of course, I think he's on HBO. I don't have HBO. I don't watch it. I don't find a lot of his comedy funny, but, a lot of people do, so whatever. It was a comedian. It was a joke, people. Now, I know Trump has talked about that basically our government has made us a dumping ground for a lot of the garbage from other countries, which quite frankly is true. When you have these countries that are emptying out prisons, mental institutions, sending gang members over, as a way to get them out of jail, I consider that statement kind of true. Be different if they would come here looking to better their lives and get away from that kind of thing. But a lot of them don't, so they just continue that. It's the only way they know, and they're not willing to change. They're not willing to acclimate to America and to become American citizens, But, yeah, crazy. Then, of course, you have Harris with her stating, about the immigration bill that was turned down. Well, there are a lot of reasons it was turned down. Didn't do anything for border security. It was just a big amnesty program for all those already in the U.S. Where they just get to jump the line, don't go through all the process of learning the history of America, learning English. So yeah, I got no problem with people coming to America. They're willing to come and be a part of it, make it a better place to live, not only for themselves, but others. But I got a problem for those that come thinking that we're just going to breastfeed them, the rest of their lives. And I will tell you, as a home health nurse, I met many of these people from clear back in the day when Clinton was doing the same thing. And a lot of those people just expected everything handed to them. And told you about the one guy that was, we're not sure whether he was Turkish or from another Slavic country. I had a Slavic translator with me whenever I went to the home. But he insisted that we get his son a car because his son needed to drive to try to start to go find a job to go to work. And we explained to him that's not something that is free in America. You have to work for it, pay for it yourself, that kind of thing. And his answer was, no, everything in America is free. No, it's not. Although we tend to give a lot of people free stuff, don't we? I think that free ride needs to kind of stop. And you look at some of these other countries like Mexico. If you go live in Mexico, you have to prove that you have your own health insurance. You have to prove that you're capable of providing for yourself. They don't have a welfare program. You have to become a productive member of society. So, I do find it rather interesting, some of the things that we just allow in our country. Oh well, whatever, we'll just take you all in. Can't do that, folks. So, yeah. All right, craft-wise, I have been making hacky sacks for Operation Christmas Child. I do make them, do crochet them. With both cotton yarn and acrylic yarn. And then basically I take a pantyhose, a half the leg of a knee high, and I will cut that in half and take 2 small bags, fill them with either pony beads or fill them with poly beads, and probably somewhere between 1.7 to 1.9 ounces. I had a couple, sorry about that. I had a couple that were about 2 ounces. They were almost too full because you do want the bags to be kind of squishy. And I believe one of the pattern that I like the best, I believe, is by Heart, Hook, and Home. Just go in, search free patterns for hacky sack pattern. It's like 16 rows. It's pretty quick, easy to do, and the bags fit just right in there. Now I have also, because I take whole t-shirts and cut them down to make braided ropes, jump ropes for Operation Christmas Child. I'll also keep the sleeves and sometimes the top panel and create like little bags that I can fill also, and then sew them closed before I put all, for the beads, get put into the bags, I'll sew it closed. And I've done that quite often, just using the sleeves and cutting those off and making a small pouch to put those in. Then sew and close the top. That works well as well. Pony beads, I would probably do about 1.5 to 1.7 ounces because they're a little bigger and bulkier. Of course, they're cheap. One of the things that I always look for when I go to Goodwill is I look for, in the crafts area, bags of pony beads, because lots of times they can be like 50 cents a bag or 10 cents a bag. Get in there a good day, they're only like 39 cents. So, you know, just kind of have to keep your eyes open. Also, when you're walking along Walmart, many times they will even put those in the clearance aisles marked down, and I'll always pick those up, regardless of what the price is. I think a regular bag of pony beads is about $2.47 at Walmart. Now, I know in Walmart they also have, in the party section, they do have some already made hacky sacks, different type balls. I think you get 4 in a package for $2, I think. So, those are pretty good deals, those kind of things. To purchase year-round for the Operation Christmas Child. But I enjoy crocheting, making handmade things. The only thing you want to remember to do is to add a tag to those that you homemade, that you make. You want to put a tag on them, what it is, what it's made of. And generally what I'll do is I'll put on a crocheted hacky sack out of cotton yarn with poly beads inserted in center. So that way they won't toss them out, because they don't always know what they are. Because there's a lot of people that volunteer to help go through these boxes, and many times they also will add things to the boxes if they think they're not full enough. You want to get your box as full as possible. The theory is if it can be shaken and you hear noise, it's definitely not full enough. So make sure you get those things full as possible. There's all kinds of things you can add. Dollar Tree many times has those backpacks, the drawstring backpacks, and you can sew them too if you sew. They're really easy to make. You can sew those as well and include those in there. That way they can take their school supplies or whatever, they can carry all that in the backpack. But they sell those year round. And lots of times they just have smaller bags that you can fold up a bag and include it in. I noticed lately they've had a lot of canvas and a lot of those tie-vac bags. I think that's what they're called. Don't quote me on that. They've had a lot of those that you can fold up and put in there as well. So those are, some things you can think about doing long before it's the week for Operation Christmas Child. Because every time you're in these places, I guarantee you, the cashiers know what you're doing. And they will say, Operation Christmas Child. Yep, that's what I'm doing. Now, Dollar General has a lot of dollar toys. They have like this Rubik, they call it a magic cube, where you can move things around. They also have some flip-over cars. They have some of those cars that have a button that it shoots the car out. What do they call those? Shooter cars? I don't know. For $1. Those are easy to pick up. Generally, when I pick up those packages, I will take that out of the packaging because a lot of these countries don't process trash the way we do. But if there's instructions, generally I will try to attempt to make a photocopy or something that tells them how to work the car and slip that down into a bag. And you can get organza bags for that. You can slip them down in those little poly zip bags with the instructions in there as well. You know, you can get those at Walmart fairly cheap for about $2 something, maybe $3. Those are great to put those kind of things in. Or you can purchase bigger lots of those, you know, like 100 pieces or more on Amazon, with thicker plastic that are the resealable, what they call the resealable zip ones. So those are some ideas. And I know lots of times what I do is, for organza bags, many times I have gone to Dollar Tree and gotten the bridal, in the bridal section, or party section, they have those small, you get I think 4 in a package or 5 in a package, I can't remember exactly, organza bags that are like drawstring. So I've done that sometimes when I run out of bags to put in bracelets or necklaces that I've made. You could also put in some of those Ziploc baggies, a snack baggie, the pony beads with some string so they can make their own bracelets, necklaces. You can make little kits with some of the paracord, cutting like into 3-foot lengths. And you know, both Dollar Tree has those, as well as many times I go over to Harbor Freight to get those. They're a little cheaper than Walmart. Walmart's are about $5, 5 something each now. I think at Harbor Freight they're still $3.50 or maybe $4. So it's a little bit cheaper that way. Cut those up and cut in, you know, copy a picture how to make a friendship bracelet, because there's plenty of patterns online, you know, and you can put a bunch of those in the couple of baggies, whatnot, for a kid, regardless of their age, and they can make their own bracelets. So, you know, those are some things to consider doing. But, yeah, I have had a lot of fun. And on Monday's video, Diana had made a comment of what her and her best friend had done. And man, it warmed my heart. I think she said they had made 1,000 soft baby dolls, maybe 60 backpacks, about 100 sewing kits, and they were taking them to Boone, to the distribution center, so that they could be used as fillers. And of course she was hoping that a lot of those would get to the North Carolina kids. And I'm hoping that too. I do know that many times, and I understand that Franklin Graham is working on doing some of that for the Appalachian area that was hit by Hurricane Helene. So, and they do that many times where disaster areas have been. The other thing to consider is if you are making shoe boxes, there is a thread going around about pack 2 more, because so many of those places there in North Carolina were wiped out and they had already been packing year long. And so they lost all those boxes along with everything that was in them. So, so as part of solidarity and whatnot, you know, they're asking everyone to consider to pack 2 more boxes. So that's kind of where, you know, my mind keeps going. And another thing, if you're concerned about the cost of slipping. Camera died because we hit our time limit. If you're concerned about the $10 to send, many times that is a suggestion to help with shipping. Maybe see if your church can help with donations for that. A lot of churches will. And of course, if your church is doing a packing party, oftentimes they're considering, helping with the shipping anyway for a lot of those things. But here's one thing to consider. The prescription bottles that we get for a lot of our medicines, if you will empty one out, wash it out really good. You don't have to take the label off of it, but consider putting quarters in it. And when you get it filled, supposedly that reaches that $10. Do that throughout the year to see how many boxes you could possibly fill. I know that's something I'm going to start this year. I'm also going to suggest that we do that in our church so that they can start taking that up and consider that as a donation for the shipping for those people in the church who would like to pack a box but can't afford buying the things for the box and shipping. So, yeah, those are some tips and tricks to consider. They may not help this year, but they'll help within the years coming up. So, and of course, if you have trouble saving money, just in general, that might be a good idea to start doing that on your own. So you got a few bucks here and there when you need it. I don't know. There's a lot of people that have trouble live paycheck to paycheck. But, yeah. Got my flu shot today. Of course, now that I'm 65, apparently we get a extra dose of goodness in ours. So she was letting me know that. And of course, what's funny is when I went in, because it's a nurse visit when you do come in for those kind of things sometimes. So when I came in, they had Halloween decorations on the door that said, "Caution, do not enter at your own risk if you dare." That kind of thing, all over the door. She opens up the doors, "Come on in." Like, I don't know if I want to go in there. So we had a good laugh about that. But it's important to get your flu shots if you can. Many of them are given away free. There are often free clinics. CVS, I believe, is giving away $5 coupon off the $20 cost of getting your flu shot. Of course, many insurance companies already pay for the flu shot. Now, I will say I don't know if I'm going to get the COVID vaccine again or not. Have not decided. Looking into more of that research about it, see whether it actually does a flipping thing or not. And I just hate the idea of us constantly every year having to have a new COVID shot, especially when it seems that this round of it is somewhat milder. A lot of people say they don't even notice that they had it, when they're diagnosed positive with it. Or they may have woke up with a scratchy throat and got diagnosed. So, who knows? I do know it still kills people, but a lot of these people that are dying already have other issues on top of the COVID, so there's that. So what are you guys working on? Friday, I will start the filming for the Spring Garden Shawl. I just didn't have time last week because of all the issues, even though I tried to plan it in there. Just did not happen. So I'm planning on doing that, starting it Friday. Hopefully it'll be up Sunday or Monday, maybe Tuesday, I don't know. Because then, of course, you got to go through and edit it. So we'll just see how it goes, folks. See how it runs. The deer have been awful active up here, too. Cats are constantly going to the front door and sniffing. And I always find it funny because when they're over there sniffing, lots of times I'll look out and there's a deer right there chomping on grass or clover that's growing. So apparently they know when they're there. Been running the cats a lot with the laser pointer, trying to get them a little exercise. Gives me a little exercise because I'll run through the house with them. Other than that, I'm still doing my hula hoop. Call it the hula hoop. It's the infinity hoop. I still do that, as well as go out and work in the yard sometimes. Although I need to plan on Saturday doing some weed eating. It's going to be a lot of fun. Need to get some of that cut back so that winter, when it comes. Need to go down and clear the drain. The leaves are falling, and so they cover up the drain. So I need to move those off and away. Generally what I do is I move those a little bit further down the road to help protect some of those wilder plants that I like. I don't mind the mullein growing back there. Don't mind the clover. Love the clover because it attracts the bees and the deer. But some of the other weeds, I really want those gone. And what I find interesting is, so far, even with some of the weed sprayer that I've used, it doesn't kill the weeds, doesn't kill the grass, doesn't kill the bamboo, you name it. So, and I need to cut over by the side of the house because the bamboo is back to growing lushly. I think that's the best word I could use. Lush. Profusely. I did put in a request with Verizon and Xfinity and PP&L for them to keep their boxes clear. I doubt anything will come of that, but there's always hope that they'll keep their boxes clear so that I don't have to do it. But yeah, that's kind of what's going on in my household these days. Still haven't been able to get the Roomba hooked back up to the internet. I don't know what's happening there. So I'm going to try that again in a little bit. See if we can get it hooked up. That helps a lot with the cat fur. Because these cats, they do shed. And otherwise, I'm having to vacuum on a daily basis. And that just takes quite a long time to get that done. So you would think these little boogers would help me out. But they don't. They should. Little stinkers. Well, folks, I think I have chatted on long enough for this day. I still have a couple other things I need to get done. So I'm going to let you go. I'll see you again later on this week. And in the meantime, everybody have a great week. And remember, don't let the donkeys and the elephants drive us apart. There'll be another election in 4 years. Whoever wins, wins. Let's move on. All right, see you guys soon. Bye.